There's sort of a disco,
influences.
there's a bit of a disco resurgence happening now too, you could
Really?
say. Yeah, a little bit. Some pop sounds are starting to incorporate what's, considered to be new disco, which is like
Yeah.
taking some of those sounds. I don't think it always has the same soul that a lot of the originals have, which is why I like playing T-Dance, because I get to play Diana Ross and I get to play,
Yeah.
Teddy
Yes.
Pendergrass and all that
All
stuff.
that stuff.
Because it's really hard to compete with that stuff, and it is what makes it a joy to play, because the music does so much of the work for you,
Yeah.
and it lifts you up
Right.
and makes it wanting to share it like part of the experience,
Right.
part of the joy of doing it,
Right.
you know?
Exactly. But before all of that happened, between when I was at all the clubs that I was at in the beginning of the 1980s, Arthur Baker made a name for himself. Arthur Baker was also in the Boston record pool, and he went to New York, and he made Africa Bombada's Planet Rock.
Yeah. He remixed it. Is that right?
He created the entire sound.
Oh, okay. So he really worked with them from scratch, and
And that's how he became the person of the decade.
yeah. Yeah, I think Arthur Baker is somehow he's overlooked sometimes by people. I think, and you're right.
He
He's-
had an ear
Yeah.
like he would always stop you on the street wherever you were in Boston, and he had his tape deck there. He says, "Listen to this. What do you think of this?" I would remember that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people would pay attention. A lot of people didn't pay attention. But boy, did he prove those people wrong.
But he had to preach, right? I mean,
Oh, he had that.
yeah.
I mean, and he was a smart man. He invested the money he made from that
Yeah.
into a recording studio.
Yeah, and so Tom Morganti, of course, was very important to selling the part of the records out of your store and
Oh,
in
yeah.
his, and I just found out recently from Kelly, from Terry Bodwin's ex Kelly,
Yes.
how much Tom was involved in the whole gay rights sort of movement.
Oh, yeah.
But well before coming to your store. So he's somebody I think we need to actually talk to at some point as well,
Oh,
because even though he wasn't a
absolutely.
DJ, he's a key figure in a lot of
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
And he was a great guy, always very friendly to me and
Yeah.
to everybody, and always could find the rarest things for people.
Oh,
He was an amazing guy. He is an amazing
I would
guy.
trust him with my life.
Yeah.
He like replaced my girlfriend,
Mm.
and Tom had the same birthday as she did.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Fate.
This guy I gotta hire.
Right.
There's something about it, that birth date.
Right. Now we only have a few minutes left, and I want to know: do you want to talk at all about the last night you DJ'd at Chaps? I mean, what do you remember about it, or what your feelings were around deciding to stop? I mean, did you just?
Well, it was basically illness.
Yeah.
I collapsed at Chaps. I was,
Can you confirm for me it was "Don't Make Me Wait" was the record that was playing? Do you remember the record? For some reason, I feel like I remember what the record was too. By Loveland. No?
it was a Loveland song.
It
yeah.
was, right?
Yeah, I collapsed. I was bleeding internally,
Oh, my.
and they took me to Beth Israel Hospital, and of course the next day everybody was saying that I was in a K-hole, which was a total lie. I
Yeah.
never did Special K.
Right.
It was a physical thing, and
You just
then
knew.
then I had Vinyl Connection for 15 years. I'm proud to say I
Yeah.
lasted 15 years
Mhm.
in retail. I called up Dennis at Decadence and told him that I was planning to close the store because of Napster and because of people not wanting to buy music anymore. They could download it.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to email everyone from the music industry to members on the Judiciary Committee at Congress saying, do something about Napster. They're stealing our music. People aren't buying anything anymore. And, you know, nobody knew what I was talking about. I mean, they thought that they were computer savvy by hiring one person with the computer doing all the work. And to them, you know, that was being worthy of knowing about the computer.
And we lost not just, you know, the financial side of it when people stopped buying it, but we lost that sort of record store community. I mean, I used to hang out in your store all the time and listen to everybody hang out and talk. It was like being in a barber shop.
We missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel very lucky.
It was like a barber shop.
Yeah.
Like the movie barber shop.
Exactly. And I felt so lucky that I was able to spend time there and just get to absorb some of the knowledge from you guys. Honest to God, it was
We
a very
talked about
important,
everything, yeah.
important time in my life.
Yeah.
I
Thank
really,
you very much.
No, you.
Thank you.
All right, I wasn't going to tear up, but you really meant a lot to me.
Thank you. Well.